What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be playing around with a title called Shadow of the Depth. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to invite you to another First Impressions video. This is a top-down, dungeon-crawling roguelite RPG, from what I can tell. It's got a very nice art style. Everything looks very clean. Everything looks very put together. The entire theme of the game looks pretty rad, and it's a quest for revenge. Someone killed your dad, so now you gotta dive down into a dungeon and brutalize everybody that gets in your way, as one does. And so this game has a publicly available demo that you can play right this second. If you look down below in the description, you can get that there. Or if this turns out to just be a thing that you're not really into, that's also a valid response to my videos as well. Along the way, I'm going to be doing my best to give you a little bit of dialogue to help you decide whether or not this is a good game. Just pointing out things that I notice about the control scheme or the way the game plays, and hopefully that will be of utility to you. Let's go ahead and start the game off. The game is down below in the description, as mentioned previously. You can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream down there in case you wanted to hang out live. There are 5 characters to pick from, although inside this demo we can only play as one of them, but there will be 5 characters in the final release. It looks like the game has actually a really nice art style. It reminds me sort of Soul Calibur, I guess, or reminds me of like Soul Calibur, like Battle Chasers Night War or something. It's got a very, very nice, clean, professional-looking art style, very stylized, very nice. We can only play as this guy for right now, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. Here we are inside the dungeon. So as you can tell, this is a very, very top-down game. For the purposes of this video, I am playing with a controller. This game does not have an acceptable control method for the PC just yet. It's one of those games that for me is kind of anathema. I don't believe in it. So it's one of those games where you got to have WASD on your left hand and then you've got like JKL on your right hand. I don't know. I can't play games like that. It just doesn't work for me. And so I'm playing with an Xbox controller at the moment. Over here we've got like our first little decision room that we've got to make. So we've got an upgrade book, or we can get a support katana, which allows us to dash through enemies. Let's take that. I want the support katana. Let's do that. So in this game, you are going to have equipment. You are going to have items. By and large, actually, the game really reminds me of almost like a roguelitification of the Gauntlet formula. Gauntlet is one of those old games that people don't really remember too well nowadays unless you were there in the arcade days, but it does feel like a very smooth, very tactile Gauntlet is what I like about it. And the control method on the Xbox controller is exactly what you would expect here. You've got your special abilities on like your B button and on your Y button. You can see me using them right there. It takes mana in order to fire off those abilities. You've got dodge on your A button. You've got attacks on your X button, just your default. You can also hold down X if you want to do like a block and a shield bash, which will get enemies off you if you're feeling a little bit pressed for space. But for right now, yeah, there we go. That was the good stuff right there. Very tactile, very nice. Having played the game for about an hour prior to the recording of this video, I will say that by and large, everything feels to be part and parcel exactly where I want it to be. The game feels pretty good, and there's a little bit of a minor adjustment, I think, in this game when you first start playing, just to get used to the rotation of the character. So they don't have tank controls, but the controls in this game are definitely tank control inspired, or like tank control tangential. So if you don't know what I mean by tank controls, if you've ever played something like Resident Evil, forward always makes you go forward with respect to the facing of your character. This game doesn't have quite that, but what it does have is a rotational vector. So when you see me going left to right there, see that? How it takes a second for your character to turn. If you swing kind of early, it'll lock you into the direction that you want to face, which is why the combat feels good. But if you're just looking to line up an ability, there's a little bit of rotation that you've got to get used to. We've got some items over here. We've got sword and shield on that side. That don't look like no sword and shield that I done never seen in my life. That looked like sword and sword. I'm going to go ahead and sell it. We'll take our gold coins right there. Very, very happy with the sound design of the game so far. That's the one big thing that's jumped out to me with this title. The sound design is quite good. We've got a skill book right there. So summon a puppet when you use a skill. We've got lightning retaliation. If you're attacked, it channels damage to 2 enemies, dealing 70% per shock. Do that one. I want to be the thunder god, dude. I want to be a walking Tesla coil. I want my wiener to discharge the powers of Thor whenever I am struck. I mean, it's the natural origin point for lightning, all right? That's just where lightning comes from, at least in my head canon. Now let's go ahead and wipe these dudes out on this side, beat up some sky rodents. It looks like we've got a health pickup right there that'll increase our maximum health by 20. So that's really good. You guys kind of avoid smacking me if you... Oh my god, I'm getting smacked so much, but I really like that lightning effect, so I'm not honestly that upset about getting smacked. The game seems to be fairly generous with pickups. That's due to the fact that the game also seems to be fairly generous with hitting you with damage. I haven't really had too many problems. Hey, upgraded shield. Let me get it. I'll take the upgraded shield, and then we'll sell that one on the ground right there. Very nice. Always use a little bit more damage while chugging through a dungeon. Go ahead and fight with these dudes real quick. Wipe them out real fast. There is a teleportation system as well, and the game seems to be designed with a weather eye forward, in my opinion, for quality of life. So there's lots of ways for you to get around the dungeon, just in case the proceduralism of the game ends up giving you like a long hallway that you don't want to deal with. There are teleporters and things all over the place. I'm going to go back to the shop and see if we can buy a health upgrade or something, but what you'll notice while we're on the way back over there is also that our character gets like a 20%, then a 40%, then like a 50% move speed buff if you're not near any enemies, just in case you're also not near a teleporter. That's really, really good eye for design right there. I like that. We can get a skill book, or we can get ourselves, what is that, a level 2? Okay, we can get 20 HP, or we can get a skill book. I want the skill book, so get MP back when you pick up health potions. If you do a devastating blow, you can get 200% damage. Reduces enemy defense when you use a support skill. Probably take that one, I guess, because I do like the little katana dash that we've got locked on into our B button right now. No load delay when you teleport in between points, too. Good. That's what I was looking for. I was wondering, but as I was saying earlier when I picked up coins, I've noticed that this title has very good sound design. Like, they've made some very strong decisions when it comes to, like, the impact sounds, and when it comes to the pickup sounds, and the coin sounds, and the crystal sounds. All that kind of stuff sounds really, really good from where I'm sitting. The only thing I've found so far that does not sound good are those little bomb layer guys. They sound terrible because the sound effect is just like 4 dBs too loud. It's not ridiculously over loud, but it's like right on the cusp of being over loud if you don't like loud beeping noises like an alarm clock. And so I tend to focus on them and try to get them first whenever I see them on the battlefield. Also, really, really enjoying the enemy density here. These are all very strong decisions, and I love the fact that when an enemy dashes at you like that, you can knock them out of the dash. They don't have iframes while dashing at you in that way. It's just very, very nice to see. A lot of games force you to dodge. Oh, there's spikes right there. I was going to say, I don't know exactly what's hitting me right now, but man, does it hurt. It's spikes. Spikes everywhere. Underneath my foot. And we don't really have enough money to buy anything right now, although a 50% health potion would be a really nice come up. Decent amount of enemy variety for a first dungeon as well. We've got skill books, unleash shockwaves in a straight line when attacking with full HP. I don't have full HP, so it's not that helpful. Let's go for maybe another dragon heart just to get the extra 20 HP for right now, and that will get us up to 140 as far as our HP is concerned. Then I got to find my way back to a functional edge of this dungeon over here. Alright, so breaking these guys up. Go ahead and give me a big dash right there. The game does come with a complimentary lock-on system that you can play around with. I didn't like it because, for me personally, I had trouble tracking and figuring out exactly what I was locked onto at any given moment, and it was kind of making things a headache because I'd be moving along and then my character would fire an attack in a direction that I didn't expect them to. So I disabled it so that the analog stick controls the direction that my attacks fire in. But you guys can, you know, do whatever you like with the way you've got your own game set up. I could use a health potion right now. I think I'd take a health potion. I'd also take some money. Honestly, I'll take just about anything. The drops have been kind of skim over this last little section of dungeon. Go ahead and get you guys all out of the way. We've got the shield bash right there. See if I can get a few more of them with the devastating AoE, because we are, remember, reducing the efficacy of their defense every time we crack that thing off. And so hopefully we're able to kill them a little bit faster. but the game feels good. Like, it feels tight. Like, it feels responsive. I think the devil is in the detail of movement and motion and control in a game like this. And there's little tiny things about the control method that occasionally leave you a little bit off base with where you wanted to be, but by and large, in the era of Hades and Hyperlight Drifter, I think this game is hanging in there. It's hanging in there, and I don't really have that many. Oh, thank you, God. There we go. Give me that right there. What do you got in here, too? You got like another one for me? Is that a level 2? It gives us +4 damage. I'll take it. Yep, throw it on. We'll sell the old one because I need the money. We got another health potion right there we can fall back to, which is really nice. Like the amount of treasures they're throwing my way, too. That one's the same stats as the one that we have, but with more luck on it. I don't know what luck does, but I'll take it. Cash, money, cheddar, Gouda, guap stacks. All right, so we got a little bit of money to play around inside that shop that we were looking at earlier, too. I think I just dashed onto spikes, but damn, did it look cool. We're getting lots of gems right there. I think that's our metagame currency. All right, wiped them out real fast. I think that's our metagame currency, so we shouldn't have to worry about it too much. This is a booby trap room. You can tell from the tile on the floor right there. All right, lock me in. Let's do this thing. Let's have our little lock-in. Let's have our little scrum. Let's have our little battle stab cutty fight over here. All right, looks good. Lots of health potions laying around on the ground, too. I love the fact that power-ups don't disappear in this game. Power-ups in old games used to disappear, not for any real gameplay consideration, but because old systems didn't have the memory and processing power to keep that many sprites on screen, so they would dissipate over time. I hate it when I see that in modern games. Like, when a modern game makes power-ups disappear, it just means that, like, fundamentally the game and I are going to disagree about, like, basic gameplay precepts. We're just not going to get along. I like it when the power-ups stay on the ground, and my argument towards that would be the Binding of Isaac. So in the Binding of Isaac, a lot of games don't do this, but the Binding of Isaac does, where you can fill up your containers of hearts with different things, and so leaving stuff laying on the ground is an important part of the consideration process for high-end metagame play. Like, what do you pick up? When do you pick it up to get, like, a devil room? When do you pick this up to get an angel room? And leaving the power-ups on the ground forever is a big part of the player being able to look at the entire map stack and be like, okay, well, I need to go pick that up. If I want to do this on the next floor, I need to go pick that up. It's a big deal. That's why I like it when power-ups stay on the ground. It adds an extra layer of decision-making to the player process that I think is lacking when the power-ups just disappear. Now, you could pretty easily make the argument from a game design standpoint that making the power-ups disappear forces the player into a more rushed position, thus making them more prone to making mistakes and requiring a higher level of play in order to dash in and dash out of all the power-ups. I still think that it's antiquated, though, having power-ups disappear, so I like it when my power-ups hang around forever just to be my little, just to be my little buddy. I've been trapped inside of a room, but I do appreciate the fact that they've changed up the tile set that we're playing around with right now. Hell yeah, dude. Get it going. And we got a few new enemy types right here, too. So that's no fewer than 6 or 7 enemy types that they've introduced inside the first 3 levels. That's the enemy variety that I look for inside of games right there. There should be a non-stop swath of just enemies that are new, that the player hasn't seen before, that are doing new things that they need to parse and figure out. And so that's a good thing right there. That makes me really happy. We've had spear guys, we have zombies, we have bats. Hey, we have another container pickup right there to give us more HP to play around with. We've got archers, we've got wizards, we've got the bomb thrower guys, we've got the big dudes. There's a lot of baddies in here that they're throwing at us. We've got the little slimes that are like a minor 1 damage, 1 HP annoyance that just like break up your combos. All right, I'm gonna need to dash out of that because I saw that I was in a kill box. We're going to pick up the big potion in just a minute. Love that katana dash right there. Really happy that we picked that up. This is good stuff, right? Oh, I've spiked myself again. The spikes on the floors throw me for a loop. I would like to fight from a safer vantage point. That was not the direction that I wanted that dash to go in, but that direction did it go nonetheless. What's on my Y button right now? Is it just like an impenetrable paladin bubble? What is that? unflinching, immune to all damage for 1 second. That's literally what it is. It's a paladin bubble. All right, what does this guy do right here? Oh, you can open up the coffins. Have I been screwing up, or are the coffins a new addition? I guess the sarcophagi, a coffin and a sarcophagus are distinct from one another. Legally. Let's dash through here real fast. I think I had a health potion back that way. I'd like to stay somewhat near it. I'd rather not fight on top of the spike traps, though, if I can help it. But yeah, I'm impressed with this. This feels nice. They've got this dialed in. This feels like a modern action roguelite that has the tactile sound design, it has the hand feel, has the controller feel that you really want the game to have. The main concerns that I would raise at this junction are just that they need to get functional keyboard controls in. That is to say, at least make it looks like they're planning on doing it already, so I don't want to harp on this point too much, because I did look at the key rebinding section, and it looks like they are going to have the mouse included on there. It just looks like it's not implemented yet, but mouse and keyboard controls that are standard to kind of like the industry for right now, with WASD on your left hand and your attacks and your blocks on your left click and your right click, and then your special abilities on like E and on F and on R. I don't mind if that's not the default controls. I get it, different places on the planet use different control layouts, but I would like the ability to keybind that to my will. And so that's the one concern that I have right now, but there's already kind of like placeholders in there inside the key binding menu that sort of imply that they're headed in that direction to begin with. So it may be a non-factor that I'm even raising that as a valid complaint about the game. But for right now, I think the game looks good. I think it plays well. I think it feels all right. I think we've got a level 4 sword right there that's going to give us a huge DPS increase. I think I would like to see them give you alternates for the weapon and the shield design, since they've used a ragdoll sort of flash game graphics style here from the top down. I don't mean that in an insulting way, so please don't take it that way. But it reminds me of kind of like a really polished flash game, or almost like a really polished mobile game. He hesitated to say, because anybody that frequents my channel will know how much I hate mobile games and gacha and all that kind of stuff. So there's kind of like a historical insult buried in there, just based on my previous opinions that I've expressed. But no, it actually looks smooth. It looks clean. It looks professional. It reminds me of Night Chasers, is what it reminds me of, in all honesty. It's got that kind of very smooth, almost like, let's call it Blizzard, or let's call it, any of the major players where they tend to stylize. So Riot, Blizzard, all those guys that tend to have the very polished, very cogent, put together graphical tile sets and stylings. Like, this all goes together is all that I'm saying. But due to the fact that they're using those sort of over smooth paper ragdolls from the top down, it shouldn't be too hard to make a bunch of sword and shield graphics that just swap out for the one that's on the character right now. Hey, we've got a katana right there. It's got a 50% chance to summon a puppet for 5 seconds when you defeat an enemy. I guess I can give that a go. We haven't really played around with that yet, but I guess I can give it a run. It seems like it's better than what I have. Oh, that was sick. Okay, I dig that right there. I'm going to have to hit somebody with that. Somebody's going to have to feel that right there. That's an ability that has the style to it that I like to see. Who's next? Bring it. Who's next? Okay, there's a lot of fart bubbles flying around. Hey, we've got those little suicide bomber zombies running around now, too. Very nice. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good. I'm digging what we got going on right here. You got a health potion, Fall Army? No, just a bunch of money? Okay. Well, that looks like it's worse than what I already have, so I'm just going to sell it. And then I need to go track down mana, and I need to go track down a health potion real quick. We did have one left in escrow over there. Did I already go to that right hand? Oh, we've got 2 left. I do have a little bit of money. Maybe I should go buy a skill at the shop. So we can get an upgrade book, which I think is probably our best throw. The upgrade book will allow us to upgrade one of our passives, so we can make our lightning retaliation hurt, or we can make it so that our passive skill nerfs their defense even harder. I'll just go for the damage for right now. That sounds good to me, but there's not really a whole lot to complain about right here. I think we need to throw so that I can find out what metagame progression is going to look like, and we can have a decent look at that before I go, but I think that's about it. This is one of those games that in the 20 minutes that we've been playing it so far has left a resoundingly good opinion on me. They did for first impressions on this, unless something catastrophically falls apart, like further on down the line. I don't really have that many complaints here. Everything to me appears to be firing with all of its cylinders pumping and all of its pistons pistoning in the right direction. Oh my. Apparently that's a challenge door right there. They did not want me to touchy the door. Fair. What else is going to happen? We got like a boss in here? We've got to be getting close to a boss, right? What the hell is that thing? Oh, it's an enhancer. So what oh, it just upgrades it to level 5. All right, fair. I'll take that. What is this right here? No response. It looks like maybe a shrine that we pray at or something. That's a heal. Yeah, dude, there's got to be a boss on the other end of what's about to happen right here. They're being too nice to me. They're giving me upgrades. They're giving me HP. The Armored Giant. All right. Well, let me see if I can... Oh, my God. That clang sound is so satisfying. Ow! Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Hated it. Ow! Also hated that. Let's boot and rally. Okay. Let's not get greedy. Oh, boy. This is not going well for me right now. Ow. I gotta get the dodge window out. I gotta get the dodge window down. I'm trying. I don't know if it's working, but I'm trying. Honestly, I could probably just bait him out like this, as long as I don't eat anything too nasty in the next X amount of time. Uh-oh. Okay, it looks like we got the iframes on that one, so we're okay here. But I think I have the mana to where I can just cheeseball that out and just spin strike him down over and over again. So that worked out pretty good too. But I like that the game is not over cheap with mana either, dude. Like some games you play, they give you enough mana to use an ability like once, and then you're done, you know? I kind of like that they gave me enough mana to fool around with there. What did I just pick up? Well, it doesn't particularly matter what I just picked up because unfortunately the game crashed on me right there. Took my entire OBS down with it too. It was a hell of a crash. It looks like what we looted was a rune. So it looks like the metagame progression over here is probably going to be using gems to upgrade these guys right here. And then these guys get slotted on into an overall metagame progression sort of, I guess, rune grid or something like that. It also looks like maybe you're going to be able to combine these or something because it says sell low-level runes, for example. And so I'm just extrapolating here. It looks like you also have some kind of... Okay, so you can't use these either, but it looks like you unlock talents by doing some kind of achievements or something along the way, too. Cool. Well, I'm thoroughly impressed. Up until we had that crash right there, everything was going swimmingly, and I have no problem saying that I'm looking forward to this game now. This looks rad as hell. Like, I'm excited about this title. It feels good. It plays well. We had that crash right there, and since it took down OBS, I'm not entirely convinced that it wasn't OBS's fault, so it may not have even been the game. It might have been OBS what done it. So it's even hard to say until I look at the error log whether or not it was the game's fault or not that it came down and crashed. Who knows? Either way, the game is really, really fun. Came out of nowhere, blindsided me, easy peasy first impressions. It is a back-to-basics dungeon crawler with great feeling combat, responsive feeling combat. I'm interested to see what they do with it in the finalized version. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to, if I can remember my own outro. This is Shadow of the Depth. Tomorrow I'll have something else for you. Thanks for hanging out with me, and that's about all I got. Bye, folks.